Tonight, breaking news, the new interview with President Trump, defending his son Don Jr., saying many people would have taken that meeting with the Russian lawyer. And Don Jr. saying in retrospect he probably would have done things differently. And he could not rule out meeting with other people from Russia. Also tonight, the new and chilling video emerging, a brutal attack, an American college grad on vacation overseas, killed by an angry mob. What happened in the moments before? The images coming in right now, the FBI and authorities digging and putting up tents, searching for 4 young men, a former baseball player, 2 of them construction workers. And tonight, a person of interest now under arrest. Severe storms at rush hour after tornadoes already reported, and this lightning at Chicago's O'Hare Airport. It is all moving east at this hour. And new concern tonight in the Antarctic. An iceberg the size of Delaware breaks off.
This is ABC World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening, and it's great to have you with us here on a Wednesday night. And we begin tonight with President Trump defending his son, saying many would have done the same thing in saying yes to a meeting where he expected to get dirt on Hillary Clinton with help from the Russian government. Tonight, Don Jr. acknowledging he likely would have done things differently, and he has also asked, were there other meetings with the Russians? ABC's chief White House correspondent Jonathan Karl leading us off.
Tonight, President Trump is coming to the defense of his son. He says he doesn't blame Don Jr. for agreeing to meet with a woman described as a Russian government attorney who claimed to have dirt on Hillary Clinton. In an interview with Reuters, the president says, "I think many people would have held that meeting." In an email exchange with an acquaintance, Don Jr. was told the purpose of the meeting was to provide the Trump campaign with some official documents and information that would incriminate Hillary. The information described as high level and sensitive, and part of Russia and its government support for Mr. Trump. Don Jr.'s response, "If it's what you say, I love it." Last night, Don Jr. went on Fox News to explain.
In retrospect, I probably would have done things a little differently. For me, this was opposition research. They had something, maybe concrete evidence to all the stories I'd been hearing about, but they were probably underreported for, years, not just during the campaign. So I think I wanted to hear it out.
Did you ever meet with any other person from Russia that you know?
I don't even know. I've probably met with other people from Russia, but certainly not in the context of a formalized meeting or anything like that, because why would I?
When asked in March by the New York Times whether he'd ever had campaign-related meetings with Russians, Donald Trump Jr. said none that were set up, and certainly none that I was representing the campaign in any way, shape, or form. And just a month after the meeting with the Russian lawyer, Don Jr. angrily dismissed suggestions the Trump campaign had anything to do with Russia.
It's disgusting. It's so phony.
Also entangled in all of this, Donald Trump's son-in-law and top advisor, Jared Kushner, who attended the meeting with the Russian lawyer after Don Jr. forwarded him the email chain with the subject line, Russia, Clinton, private and confidential.
What do you say to Democrats who say that Jared Kushner's security clearance should be revoked?
Once again, we don't discuss security clearances, but I think Democrats are trying to play political games, and I think it's ridiculous.
Is there any concern over the top advisor of the president?
Did nothing wrong? No.
The president himself has been out of public view for days. Aides describe him as angry and frustrated. But today, these images emerged, the president meeting with faith leaders in the Oval Office, laying their hands on him in prayer.
John Karl with us live tonight from the White House. And John, in this new interview with Reuters tonight, the president for the first time is actually describing how he questioned Vladimir Putin about meddling in the U.S. presidential election.
The president tells Reuters that when he met with Vladimir Putin in Germany, he spent the first 20 to 25 minutes of the meeting talking about Russian interference in the election. This is how the president described it. I said, "Did you do it?" And he said, "No, I did not. Absolutely not." I then asked him a second time in a totally different way. He said, "Absolutely not." But David, there's no indication in this interview whether or not the president accepted Putin's denials.
John Karl leading us off tonight. John, thank you. And after that Russian lawyer who met with Don Jr. said that she was not connected to the Russian government and that she had no interest in politics, there are growing questions tonight after images emerged of her in the front row on Capitol Hill. If she's not interested in politics, why was she there? Our chief foreign correspondent, Terry Moran, in Moscow, going to find her again.
She's at the center of a global media firestorm.
Do you want to ask a question?
Мне было это абсолютно неинтересно.
But Natalia Veselnitskaya says she's not even interested in politics. Still, in Moscow, Veselnitskaya is known as a powerhouse, politically connected lawyer, and she's no stranger to Washington. There she is in the front row of a 2016 congressional hearing on Russian sanctions, just 5 days after she got that meeting at Trump Tower with top campaign officials, including Donald Trump Jr. He was told she was a Russian government attorney bringing damaging information about Hillary Clinton, so we asked her about it today.
Is that true or false?
У меня не было никогда компромата.
Listen, she says, I have never had compromising materials on Hillary Clinton. Her only agenda, she says, relieving some U.S. sanctions. She and Trump Jr. agree on one thing. That meeting was a bust.
Он хотел услышать от меня то,
He wanted to hear from me that which I did not tell him, she says. He got disappointed from not hearing it. Today, Veselnitskaya insisted she was not a Kremlin emissary.
Were you carrying any message, any information from anyone in the Russian government to the Trump campaign?
No, no.
You seriously think that if the Russian Federation could do something like that, they would do it through me, she says? Come on, it's just funny.
And Terry Moran joins us from Moscow. And Terry, I know you reported the Russian lawyer denies she's a lawyer connected to the Russian government, even saying, quote, I'm not interested in politics. But how does she explain images like this one, sitting in the front row in that Senate hearing here in Washington, D.C.?
It's a striking image, David, and what she says is that she was publicly advocating her position on U.S. sanctions. That's not something she would do, she says, if she were a spy.
Terry Moran in Moscow for us. Terry, thank you. Now to the fireworks on Capitol Hill today. President Trump's pick to replace James Comey at the FBI. Front and center, asked about loyalty to the president and asked about what the president said just today, that this is all a witch hunt. How his nominee answered. ABC senior justice correspondent Pierre Thomas in the room.
After firing his previous FBI director James Comey, President Trump's pick to replace him, Chris Wray, facing intense scrutiny today. Grilled about everything from loyalty to the president to the president's son, Don Jr.
If you get a call from somebody suggesting that a foreign government wants to help you by disparaging your opponent, tell us all to call the FBI.
Any threat or effort to interfere with our elections from any nation state or any non-state actor is the kind of thing the FBI would want to know.
All right, so I'll take it that we should call you, and that's a great answer.
And after those one-on-one meetings between President Trump and James Comey, the new nominee was asked, what would he do?
If the president asks you to do something unlawful or unethical, what do you say?
First, I would try to talk him out of it, and if that failed, I would resign.
Just today, President Trump defending his son, again saying the investigation into possible collusion with the Russians is a witch hunt.
I'm asking you, as the future FBI director, do you consider this endeavor a witch hunt?
I do not consider Director Mueller to be on a witch hunt.
And when asked whether he would pledge loyalty to the president,
my loyalty is to the Constitution. No one asked me for any kind of loyalty oath at any point during this process, and I sure as heck didn't offer one.
Tonight, Chris Wray's answers seeming to sway even some Democrats.
So you think he'll be independent enough?
Yes, I do. If that changes, I'll let you know.
All right, Pierre Thomas with us live at the FBI. Chris Wray does seem to be headed to confirmation. Rare agreement here on both sides, Pierre?
David, I think they were satisfied with his answers that he's a just the facts kind of guy who's not afraid to challenge the president. He once threatened to resign over a controversial surveillance plan during the last Bush administration. David?
Pierre Thomas live at the FBI for us. Thank you, Pierre. We do move on now tonight into newly released surveillance video showing the fatal beating of an American while abroad. Bakari Henderson, just graduating from college in May, celebrating with a vacation in Greece with friends. The video tonight shows him running and then a mob chasing him. And a warning, it is disturbing. Here's Kana Whitworth.
Tonight, the newly released surveillance video. 22-year-old Bakari Henderson seen running from a mob of angry men on the Greek island of Zakynthos. He's shoved into a car, violently kicked and punched in the face. His friends say he was pummeled with brass knuckles. The savage attack carried out in under 15 seconds. A man and a woman rushing to stop the beating. Someone performing CPR, but it wasn't enough. Later, authorities saying Henderson wasn't able to defend himself, suffering severe head trauma. 9 men under arrest, 7 of them Serbian tourists, covering their heads, and 2 workers at the bar where the fight started. This video from inside showing the first punches. Henderson's friends back home in Austin, Texas, horrified by the tragedy, saying he had just graduated from college and had a bright future ahead of him.
He was going to do so many great things with his life.
David, Henderson's friends say they were minding their own business in the bar when several men got in Henderson's face. As for those charged, their lawyer says they never intended to kill anyone. David?
Kena Whitworth, thank you. We turn next to the search efforts, the digging underway at this hour near Philadelphia in the search for those 4 young men who vanished. Tonight, we have learned a person of interest is now under arrest. ABC's Eva Pilgrim from the scene.
Tonight, with the search for these 4 missing men intensifying, officials announcing the rearrest of person of interest, Cosmo DiNardo.
This is for receiving stolen property and theft of a 1996 Nissan Maxima that is owned by Thomas Mio, 21 years old.
That car found in a garage on DiNardo's family's property. Mio's diabetes medication still inside. Officials say DiNardo was trying to sell the car for $500. Authorities searching this field for any sign of Tom Mio, 19-year-old Jimmy Patrick, 22-year-old Mark Sturgis, and 19-year-old Dean Finicaro, all missing since last week.
We have recovered several important pieces of evidence.
Neighbor Susan Coleman says she heard gunfire on DiNardo's property on Saturday.
We heard it, we felt it. It was violent.
Sturgis and Mio described as close friends. They both worked for the same construction business. Finicaro, their mutual friend. Patrick, a popular sophomore at Loyola University in Maryland.
He was on the baseball team. He was best kind of
And Eva Pilgrim with us again tonight. The man arrested now being held on $5 million bail, you were telling us?
That's right, David. Prosecutors are arguing that Cosmo DiNardo is a flight risk and a danger to the community. His parents releasing a statement tonight saying they sympathize with the parents of those missing men and are cooperating in every way possible with law enforcement. David?
Eva Pilgrim in Bucks County, Pennsylvania. Next to the severe storms moving across the country at this hour, 6 reported tornadoes in just the past 24 hours. This one right here in Buxton, North Dakota. And look at this, lightning striking within just feet of a passenger plane at Chicago's O'Hare Airport. Let's get to meteorologist Rob Marciano live here in New York, tracking it all. It's moving east, right, Rob?
It is, David. A lot of heat and humidity fueling these storms. It is mid-July after all. Look at the flash flood watches that are posted tonight from Boston all the way through Chicago into the Corn Belt, and a severe thunderstorm watching through Wisconsin as well. The next 36 hours of the action is going to be along this front. Several pulses through it, and by this time tomorrow, Indianapolis, Cincinnati, the Ohio River Valley really getting it. But south of that, really steamy, really hot. Heat advisories out from Kansas City to New York City to D.C. to Philly. Many of those areas are going to feel like 100 degrees tomorrow. David?
Rob Marciano with us again tonight. Thank you, Rob. And from the bottom of the earth this evening, one of the largest icebergs ever recorded has now broken away from the Antarctic ice shelf. Scientists have been concerned for some time about this, and ABC's Lindsay Davis with the images coming in now.
A massive iceberg is free-floating tonight after breaking away from the ice shelf in Antarctica. More than 1 trillion tons and the size of Delaware, the iceberg is one of the largest to ever snap off. The crack has been expanding for years. Scientists are calling the split an enormous geographical event and are studying what role, if any, regional warming may have played. Disappearing ice is an issue on both poles, as we saw firsthand during a visit to Baffin Island just off the coast of Greenland in 2012.
There's so much more water now compared to when I first came out here. And now it's like little islands of ice.
While breaks have happened before, what's unusual about this latest one is the size. The concern is if enough large glaciers end up in the ocean, sea levels could rise, which is why scientists will be keeping close watch. Lindsay Davis, ABC News, New York.
Lindsay, thank you. There is still much more ahead on World News Tonight this Wednesday. The commuter nightmare in a major American city and the images tonight. Look at this train stuck on the tracks. The problem forcing hundreds of passengers to walk back through the tunnels. Also, the story of this little girl and the major cancer breakthrough tonight that could affect hundreds just like her, possibly many more. And your money tonight, how to make hundreds of dollars a month as a mystery shopper, going to the stores you already go